The wind on planet Kova 7 was always cold. It blew dust across the steel paths of the colony outpost. Most people stayed inside after sunset. Strange things moved in the dark, things that didn't always show up on scanners. Ryan lived alone. He liked it that way. He had a small workshop near the edge of the outpost. Machines filled every wall. Old weapons, scanners, and tech parts were stacked in quiet corners. His only companion was silence, and sometimes music from Earth. That night, as he was fixing a broken drone, something happened. A knock at the door. Soft. Almost afraid. Ryan looked up. No one knocked this late. Not on this planet. He stood slowly, grabbed a small plasma pistol from his table, and walked to the door. He pressed a button. The outer camera turned on. What he saw made him freeze. A girl, young, maybe 16, alien but human-like in shape. Her skin was pale purple. Her hair was silver, tied in a rough braid. She wore a dusty cloak and had a long cut on her forehead. She looked directly into the camera. With eyes full of sorrow, Ryan opened the door halfway. "Who are you?" he asked sharply. The girl didn't speak for a moment. Her lips trembled. Then she whispered, "You don't remember me, do you?" Ryan's heart jumped. "What?" She took a shaky step forward. You saved me once. A long time ago." Ryan narrowed his eyes. "I think you've got the wrong man." But her eyes didn't move. They kept staring into his like she was searching for something. "I was just a child," she said. "They told me you died, but I always believed you'd come back." Ryan lowered his weapon, confused. "Look, I don't know who you are. I've never seen you before in my life." Then the girl's knees buckled. She fell. Ryan caught her just in time. She was ice cold. Her hands were shaking badly. Her cloak was torn, and under it a strange glowing mark pulsed on her collarbone, like a tattoo made of light. Ryan hesitated, then pulled her inside and shut the door. He laid her on a soft chair near the heater and wrapped a blanket around her. She slowly opened her eyes. "I'm sorry, I didn't want to cause trouble. I just didn't know where else to go." "You're not causing trouble," Ryan said. Though his mind was racing, she looked weak. Starving. He brought her warm broth and helped her sip. "What's your name?" he asked. The girl blinked. "You used to call me Nova." Ryan shook his head. "I've never called anyone that." She smiled faintly. "You did, before they took your memories." Ryan stood back. "What are you talking about?" "They wiped your mind," she said softly. "They didn't want you to remember me, or what you did." Ryan suddenly felt dizzy. His past wasn't that simple. He had always known something was missing. Holes in his memory. Blank months during the war. Still, it sounded crazy. Before he could ask anything more, his wall alarm flashed red. Motion detected, outside. Figures moved in the dark. Ryan rushed to the control panel and checked the scanner. 3 heat signatures. Armed, moving fast. "Are they looking for you?" he asked. The girl nodded. "They don't want me to speak to you." Ryan grabbed a rifle from the wall and loaded it. "Then you better stay quiet." She stood, still weak but steadier. "They'll try to kill you too." Ryan looked at her, and for the first time, he felt it, deep in his chest. Something about her was familiar. A voice from the past, a face half buried in dreams, a memory he couldn't reach. He stepped in front of her. "If I really knew you once, I'm not letting them take you." The girl smiled, and for the first time since she knocked on his door, her eyes shined with hope. Then outside, a loud boom. The front gate exploded. The hunt had begun. The front gate was gone. Smoke filled the air. Sparks danced across the dirt road outside. Ryan's outpost wasn't made for war, but tonight, it became a battlefield. He pulled the girl behind a metal crate in his workshop. His rifle pointed at the door. She held the blanket tight around, her shoulders eyes wide but silent. Outside, heavy boots crunched the gravel. 3 shadows moved through the smoke. Their armor was black, their weapons long. They didn't knock this time. They came to kill. One of them pointed a scanner at the building. Life signs confirmed. 2. 1 human. 1. Not. The girl held her breath. Ryan's grip tightened. You know who they are, he whispered. She nodded. They're not soldiers, they're cleaners, sent to erase everything. Why? Because I carry something they don't want the world to see. Ryan frowned. Like what? She pulled back her blanket. Beneath her collarbone, just above her heart, was a glowing mark. Not a tattoo, not a wound. It was a code. Lines of light ran across her skin like a living circuit. When she breathed, it pulsed softly. Ryan leaned in. What is that? She didn't look away. You gave it to me. Ryan blinked. No, You did, she said. Back when you were someone else, when you still remembered. Suddenly his chest felt heavy. His head hurt like a wave crashing into a locked door in his mind. Memories stirred, shadows and sparks. A little hand reaching out. A fire. A scream. Then, nothing. Bang! A shot slammed into the wall behind them. Metal burst into pieces. The cleaners had found the entrance. Ryan pulled her up. Back door, now. They slipped through a small maintenance tunnel behind the shelves and exited into the cold night. Ryan tapped a hidden panel. The building's defense system activated. Turrets burst from the ground and fired at the attackers. Ryan didn't wait to see what happened. They ran into the rocky hills behind the outpost. By sunrise, they had climbed halfway up a quiet ridge. The girl was breathing hard, her legs weak. Ryan helped her sit on a flat stone and scanned the area. No signs of the cleaners. Not yet. We need to talk, he said. She nodded, wiping sweat from her forehead. You keep saying I knew you, he said. That I gave you that mark. Why would I do that? She looked at him sadly. Because you were my protector. You promised my mother. Before she died. Ryan felt a deep twist in his stomach. I wasn't a father, he said slowly. No, she whispered, but you were something close. He sat beside her. Tell me everything. She spoke in a quiet voice. Years ago, there was a secret mission, one that never made it into the history logs. A human soldier went against orders to rescue a child, an alien child born from 2 warring bloodlines. She carried inside her the genetic key to an ancient technology, something that could change the galaxy. The soldier hid her, taught her, protected her, until the program found out. They captured him, wiped his memory, changed his name, left him with only pieces. You were that soldier, she said. Ryan said nothing for a long time. Then finally he spoke. Why now? Why come back? To me? She reached out and touched her chest. Because this code is waking up, and I needed to find the only person I ever trusted. Ryan looked out over the desert. His hands clenched. I don't remember you, but something in me wants to believe you. She smiled faintly. That's enough for me. Suddenly, Ryan's wrist scanner beeped. Warning. Enemy drone detected high above, scanning. He stood fast. They found us again. The girl stood too, stronger now. Ryan looked at her. Then let's stop running. You say I used to protect you? She nodded. Then it's time I remember how. The cave didn't look special, just a crack in the side of a mountain. Dark, cold, and quiet. But when the girl stepped inside, her necklace started to glow. Ryan followed her closely, one hand on his weapon, the other scanning for life signs. Bray, girl whispered. This is where you hid me the first time. Ryan stopped. Here? She nodded. We lived here for 3 months. You told me stories, taught me how to stay quiet, how to survive. He looked around. It was hard to believe, but then he saw something, a small broken toy, a soft alien creature made of wires and cloth half buried in dust. The girl picked it up. I named her Luna, she said with a small smile. You found her for me, said every little girl deserves a friend. Ryan stared at the toy, frozen. His heart began to pound. Suddenly, pain stabbed his head. He stumbled. Ryan, the girl cried, catching his arm. His mind was spinning. Flash, a fire. Flash, a small girl hiding behind his leg. Flash, a voice saying, protect her at all costs. He dropped to one knee, gripping his skull. The girl held his hand. It's okay, she whispered. The memories, they're coming back. That's good. Ryan gasped for breath. I saw something. You and others. A lab. A mission. She nodded. Keep going. It's all still in you. Deeper inside the cave, they found a panel buried behind rock. The girl brushed her fingers along the wall and it blinked to life. A door opened with a soft hiss. Behind it, a hidden chamber, old tech, screens, a power core still alive after all these years. Ryan stepped inside slowly. The screen glowed. Welcome back, Commander Kalen. His eyes widened. That name. He didn't know it, but it hit his heart like thunder. Is that me? The girl stepped beside him. That was your name before they erased it. You were Commander Kalen of Earth's Ghost Division. Special Ops. Ryan stared at the screen. Memories came like drops of rain, soft but growing stronger. Training. Missions. Orders he refused. A child he chose to save instead of kill. You broke the rules to protect me, the girl said. They couldn't let a soldier remember kindness. Ryan sat down, shaking. I'm not just some repairman on a dusty outpost, he whispered. No, she said, sitting beside him. You were a hero. My hero. Suddenly the computer beeped. Unknown signal detected. Perimeter breach. Ryan stood. They found this place? The girl ran her hand along a nearby wall. A second door opened. Behind it, a small hidden room, a sleeping pod, and a sealed box. She picked up the box and handed it to Ryan. You hid this for yourself. You said one day, when you remember, you'd know what to do with it. Ryan opened it slowly. Inside was a ring. Black metal, with a tiny green light on the side. The moment he touched it, his eyes rolled back. He wasn't in the cave anymore. He was in a lab, holding the girl in his arms. She was smaller then, maybe 5. She was crying. Soldiers pointed weapons at him. A voice said, You will obey orders, Kalen. She is not your mission. And his own voice, clear and full of fire, replied, She is now. He activated the ring. A pulse of light knocked the soldiers back. He ran, through gunfire, through darkness, through war. Ryan gasped and fell to his knees. The girl helped him sit down. You okay? She asked softly. I remember, he whispered. I remember everything now. She smiled through her tears. Ryan stood slowly, not as Ryan, as Commander Kalen. And outside the wind grew louder. Back at the cave entrance, black-armored cleaners arrived. They scanned the area. She's in there. The human's still with her. Orders? One asked. No more mercy. Kill him. Capture the girl. Inside, Kalen loaded his old pistol. It hummed like it had missed him. He looked at the girl. You ready to run again? She shook her head. No more running. He nodded. Then let's make them regret chasing us. He opened the cave's blast door and stepped into the light, not as a broken man, but as the warrior they failed to erase. The sun on Cova 7 never truly rose. It only glowed behind thick clouds, casting a dim orange light over the land. But inside the old command bunker, something much brighter had awakened. Commander Kalen's memory. He stood taller now, stronger. The girl, Nova, watched him closely. Her eyes held both relief and fear. You remember everything? She asked softly. Kalen nodded. Not just faces. I remember what they did, what I did, and what they planned for you. She looked down. Project Memory. He turned to her. You know the name? She hesitated. I heard them whisper it when I was little. They said, I was built for remembering. Kalen clenched his fists. They weren't wrong. Inside the bunker, he activated a secret terminal hidden beneath a metal panel. The dust hadn't touched it. A green light flashed. Kalen ID confirmed. Project Memory files unlocked. Screens lit up, showing dozens of documents. Nova stepped closer. Photos of her at different ages flashed on screen. Scans of her brain, charts tracking her growth. But one word repeated again and again. Carrier. Nova gasped. What did they put inside me? Kalen stared at a file labeled Echo Drive. He opened it. A video played. A scientist spoke directly to the camera. Project Memory is complete. The alien child now carries the Echo Drive. If activated, she will awaken not just her own thoughts, but the memories of an ancient empire. Her mind will become the last library of the stars. Nova stepped back. No, I don't want that. I never chose this. Kalen turned to her. You didn't choose it, he said gently. I did. I chose to take you, to protect you, to give you a life beyond this. But they erased you, she whispered. Not everything, he said. I remembered one thing. What? Kalen smiled softly. You. Suddenly the bunker lights dimmed. Alert. External breach. 4 heat signatures approaching. Nova's hands trembled. They found us. Kalen grabbed his weapon and reached for the side wall. With one pull, the hidden armory opened, packed. With old tech sealed since the war, he tossed Nova a small energy blade. You trained with this before, he said. Her hands knew it better than her mind did. The blade lit up instantly. I remember the weight, she whispered. Outside, footsteps echoed. The door exploded. 4 cleaners stormed in, silent, deadly, armed with stun rifles and stun nets. Kalen moved first. Boom! His plasma shot hit the wall near the first enemy, just enough to blind him. Nova ducked and rolled, slicing the net midair before it could catch her. Another cleaner rushed toward her. She spun low and slashed behind his knee. Down. Kalen disarmed. One with a brutal shoulder slam and pinned him to the floor. The last one backed toward the exit, but Nova was already there. She raised her blade but paused. Kalen shouted, Do it! But Nova froze. I don't want to be like them, she said. So she didn't kill. She just pressed her hand to his helmet, and her tattoo glowed. The cleaner collapsed, unconscious. What did you do? Kalen asked. She looked at her hand. I don't know. Something inside me just knew how. When the dust settled, the room was still again. Kalen walked to the central terminal. He typed fast, unlocking the last files. A secret plan was hidden there, a location deep in space, a vault, called the Mind Archive. Coordinates blinked on screen. This is it, Kalen said. They were never after you. They're after what's inside you. The key to this. Nova's face turned pale. So what happens if we go there? We end this. Nova looked scared. What if I'm not ready? Kalen turned to her. You're already more than they ever expected. You don't need to be ready, you just need to be brave. She smiled weakly. I can do that. They loaded supplies into a hidden ship beneath the bunker. Nova sat in the co-pilot seat. Her fingers brushed. The controls. They lit up as if they recognized her touch. Kalen looked out at the dark sky. It's not over yet. Nova nodded. I know. As the ship lifted into the air, the bunker behind them closed forever, and far above, something ancient began to awaken because the girl who carried a galaxy's forgotten memories was coming home. The stars outside the ship looked cold and endless. Inside, Kalen sat in the pilot seat staring ahead, quiet. He wasn't just flying toward a place in space. He was flying toward the truth. Nova sat beside him, holding the small pendant around her neck. It was glowing again, brighter every hour as they got closer to the location shown in the file. The Mind Archive. It wasn't on any map. No one spoke of it. But Kalen knew. It was real, and powerful people would do anything to keep his secret. As they passed the final gate to the archive's hidden sector, a warning came from the ship's system. Tracking beacon activated. Unregistered signal attached to hull. Unknown ship approaching. Fast. Kalen slammed his fist on the console. They tagged us at the bunker. They've been following the whole time. Nova looked at the radar. A large black ship was closing. In twice their size. Who are they? She asked. Kalen narrowed his eyes. Not cleaners. Not military. He zoomed in. The symbol on the enemy ship was sharp, ancient, a broken star wrapped in chains. His voice dropped low. Wraithborn. Nova's. Eyes widened. They're supposed to be extinct. They were, Kalen said. I helped wipe them out, or thought I did. The Wraithborn ship fired without warning. A beam of dark plasma struck Kalen's ship, knocking it sideways. Alarm screamed. Nova held onto her seat. We're hit. Stabilizers down, Kalen muttered. But we're not out. He pulled. The ship upward, dodging another blast. Then the Wraithborn hailed them. A voice filled the cockpit. Commander Kalen, still alive. Still protecting the broken child. Kalen didn't respond. The voice laughed. You survived everything we threw at you. Memory wipes, assassins, fire. But you're just a man, and men break. Kalen switched the comm off. Nova looked at him. What do we do? He stared straight ahead. Remind them I'm not just a man. He launched the ship into the heart of an asteroid field. Rocks floated everywhere. Perfect for hiding, but deadly for flying. The Wraithborn ship followed. Slower, but stronger. Nova controlled the shields while Kalen flew between spinning rocks. Dodging death every second, suddenly a massive asteroid loomed ahead. Too close. Kalen spun the ship, scraping the side but slipping through a gap. The Wraithborn ship couldn't follow. It struck the asteroid. Hard. Flames lit up space. Kalen shouted, Nova, fire counterstrike. She hesitated, then hit the button. Their rear cannon fired once. Boom, and the enemy ship exploded behind them, pieces spinning into black space. Silence returned. Kalen sat back, breathing hard. Nova stared at him. You're impossible, he looked at her. No, just stubborn. Later they reached a silent moon floating alone in space. It wasn't marked on any star map. No light. No signs. But Nova's pendant shined brighter than ever. This is it, she said. The Mind Archive. They landed near a massive stone gate built into the ground. Strange alien writing covered it. Nova stepped forward. I feel something calling me. Kalen kept his weapon close. Stay behind me. She smiled. You always say that. They reached the gate. Nova placed her palm on the stone. It glowed. The gate opened. Inside was a room filled with floating orbs, all glowing soft gold. Each orb pulsed with warmth as if alive. The ship's system whispered through the comm. Welcome, carrier. The archive is yours. Kalen stepped beside her. What is all this? Nova's voice was small. Memories. Millions of them. Voices from the past. All locked inside me, waiting to wake up. She walked to the center. Suddenly, the ground trembled. Behind them, a new enemy ship arrived. Even larger, even darker. The real Wraithborn flagship. Kalen raised his weapon. He whispered under his breath. They've tried to kill me 100 times, but I'm still here. Nova looked at him. Why do you keep fighting? He looked at her and answered softly. Because you're still alive. Outside, the ground cracked. Enemies poured from the ship. But this time, Kalen wasn't alone. Nova's hands glowed, and the memories inside her began to rise. They stood at the heart of the moon. Nova's hands glowed with golden light. The memory orbs floated around her, pulsing with energy, whispering secrets of long-dead civilizations. But outside, a storm was coming. The Wraithborn flagship opened its hull. Hundreds of black-armored soldiers marched out like shadows. Their steps were silent. Their eyes glowed red. In front of them stood a tall figure, wearing no helmet, no armor, just a long coat, pale skin, silver eyes. Kalen recognized him. His chest tightened. Dr. Alrix, the man who had once been his commander. The man who had erased his memory. Kalen stepped forward, his gun aimed, heart pounding. "You," he growled. Dr. Alrix smiled. "I hoped you would remember. Memory always finds its way home, doesn't it?" Nova stayed close behind Kalen, eyes on the silver-eyed man. "You were the one who gave the order?" she asked. He nodded. "Yes, I created you." "No," Kalen said coldly. "You built her. I raised her." Ulrich's voice turned sharp. "You were supposed to follow orders, Kalen. Project Memory was meant to serve the High Command, not be hidden away like a child." Kalen's hand shook. "You took everything from me. My past. My name. My life." Ulrich shrugged. "We erased your mind to save your body. You were too dangerous to kill, too loyal to break." He stepped forward, his voice like ice. "But you were never supposed to remember. That was your one job. Forget." Nova gripped Kalen's sleeve. "I won't let them take you again." Kalen looked at her, his voice low. "I'm not the one. They're after now. You are." She nodded slowly. "Then let's finish this. Together." The Wraithborn soldiers began to surround the archive. Inside, the memory orbs spun faster. The room trembled. Nova's tattoo glowed bright gold. The orbs circled her, and one by one they merged into her skin. She gasped, but did not fall. She stood taller, eyes glowing, energy flowing through her veins. Dr. Ulrich raised a hand. "Capture her. Kill the human." The soldiers charged. Kalen ran forward, firing. His aim was perfect, sharp. Each shot dropped one enemy. But there were too many. He was only one man. Nova stepped beside him and raised her hands. The ground shook. A wave of golden light erupted from her body. The soldiers froze mid-run, caught in the wave. One by one, they collapsed, peacefully. Their minds shut down, their weapons powered off. Kalen stared at her in awe. You stopped them without killing." Nova nodded. "I remembered who I am." But Dr. Ulrich remained, unmoved, unshaken. He smiled. "You've grown strong, child, but not strong enough." He raised a black device from his coat, a single button. Nova's body tensed. She screamed, her glowing marks flickered, then dimmed. Kalen ran to her. "What's happening?" "She's bonded to my failsafe," Ulrich said coldly. "If I die, she dies too. We made sure of that." Nova dropped to her knees. Kalen's mind raced. Memories crashed in. How the implant was placed. How he once tried to remove it. How he failed. But now he remembered everything. Every detail, every line of code. He turned to Ulrich. "You were wrong," he said. "I didn't just remember her. I remembered how to break you." He dropped his weapon and pulled Nova close, then pressed, his hand to her back right where the failsafe lived. He closed his eyes and rewrote the code. Ulrich laughed. "You're too late." But then, his device stopped blinking. He looked down, confused, then scared. No, that's not possible." Nova opened her eyes. Her marks blazed gold again. The failsafe. Gone. "I'm free," she whispered. And behind her, the memory archive lit up like a star. Dr. Ulrich turned to run. Kalen raised his blaster. "For everything you stole." Boom. The shot hit true. Dr. Ulrich fell and didn't rise again. Silence returned to the moon. The memory archive calmed. Nova stood tall, glowing softly. She looked at Kalen. "You remembered everything?" He nodded, breathless. "I had to." She smiled. "Then I can finally stop running." The war was over. The archive moon was silent now. The stars above shimmered gently like they were watching from far away. No ships chased them. No voices shouted orders. No more running. Nova stood near the edge of a cliff, overlooking the galaxy. Her eyes were calm, glowing gold with quiet power. Behind her, Kalen sat beside the ship. His armor was scratched. His hands still showed scars, but his heart was full. Nova turned to him. "It's strange," she said. "When we first met and you didn't even know who I was." Kalen smiled. "Now I can't forget." She walked over and sat beside him. "The archive gave me more than memories," she said. "It gave me a home, a past, a future." Kalen nodded. "What will you do with it?" "I want to build something new," she whispered. "Something better. A place where no one gets erased." He looked at her. "That's a big dream. You taught me how to dream," she said. He said nothing for a while. Then he reached into his coat pocket, pulled out something small, a tiny silver charm. It was shaped like a crescent moon. "You gave me this once," he said, "when you were just a kid. Said it would help me find my way if I ever got lost." Nova touched it gently. "I never stopped hoping you'd come back." A soft wind moved through the dust. The stars blinked in quiet rhythm. Nova spoke again, softer this time. I know. When I was little, I called you something else." Kalen raised an eyebrow. "Oh yeah?" She nodded. "Not out loud, not where they could hear, but in my head. I always called you." She paused, then smiled. "Father." Kalen's breath caught. His hands curled slightly. He turned away for a second, but not fast enough to hide the tear in his eye. "Do you still want to call me that?" he asked quietly. She leaned her head on his shoulder. "Yes." He placed his hand over hers. "Then I'll wear that name with pride." Later that night, Kalen looked at the stars alone. The ship was ready to go. They had 100 options now. Peaceful worlds, quiet places, fresh starts. Nova had power inside her, enough to change planets, maybe even galaxies, but she chose to stay beside him, to build something small first, something real. A home. Weeks passed. They found a green world, with no name, clean rivers, open skies, a sky full of birds. They built a small home by a lake. No guards, no labs, no enemies, just peace. One evening, Nova was planting flowers. Kalen sat nearby, fixing a weather tower. She laughed as a small blue bird landed on her shoulder. He watched her. She was no longer just the child from the past. She was something more, bridge between two worlds, between memory and hope. That night, they sat by the fire. Nova turned to him. "Do you think they'll come back someday? The ones who tried to take me?" Kalen shook his head. "And if they do, they'll find a girl who became a queen." She smiled, then said softly, "No, they'll find a girl with a father who never stopped protecting her." Kalen smiled too. He didn't wear armor anymore. He didn't carry a title. But in her eyes, he was something greater than a soldier. He was the man who remembered love. The fire crackled gently. The stars blinked above, and far, far from war and pain, a girl who once had no home now had a family. Because sometimes, all it takes to change everything is remembering who you are and choosing who you love.